Hi, I'm Stephen Hilliard,
And I'm Chris Lucas, and we are the faces of manufacturing.
and these are our stories.
Growing up, I was very analytical, always interested in tearing something apart and rebuilding it just to see what it did or what I can make new out of it. That definitely is what interests me in going into the Air Force and specifically into Intel.
For me, my decision wasn't quite so intellectual to join the Army. I just wanted to break things and blow stuff up. Growing up as a kid in a very rural area, I got to play in the woods a lot, play war in the woods, go hunting. It was a real passion for me, almost like a calling, I guess you could say. The Army just seemed like the place to be for me. While I was attending college, I joined the Army Reserves, and after about 4 years or so of that, went active duty Army, and was immediately stationed to Germany. After that, was reassigned to Fort Campbell, Kentucky. About a year after that, deployed with that division to Iraq as part of Operation Iraqi Freedom. Before I left that deployment, I was working with a gentleman by the name of Brad Nelson and a manufacturer. There somewhat locally, we developed a backpack that was Mali compatible. This same guy, Brad, called me, and his company was being bought by a larger company. That company purchased a sewing machine for me, moved it into the shop, taught myself how to sew, taught myself how to design in a production setting, and from scratch built up this full line of load carriage items and packs and vests. And during that time, I met a gentleman named Ashley Burnsid. And after a few years, his company, Blue Force Gear, he was growing it to the point where he wanted to develop what we believe to be the most advanced line of load carriage in the world right now.
When I first joined the Air Force, I actually joined as a reserve unit, but was immediately put on 2 years of active duty service. Once I went to my traditional reserve status, that's when I began to look into manufacturing and what type jobs were available for me. My wife's stepdad got me my first job working for a yacht manufacturer. So it gave me a wide range of skills right off the bat. So having that skill set from the beginning definitely helped me when I transitioned to JCB. One of the things that attracted me to JCB was the Government and Defense project. They had just started the initial phases of the Hemi, and when I first started initially, I was actually welding the Hemi arms, which you see here, and then quickly learned the entire machine, on to group leader, and then finally to where I'm at today as manager.
I think that one of the things that people don't really realize, especially service members as they're finishing their time in service, is how many of the skill sets they've learned during that time will transition well over into the manufacturer setting.
Right. And a lot of other similarities, like how the military operates on a strategy and an end game with a course of action. Manufacturing operates on a very similar standpoint. One of the things you often hear from veterans is how hard it is to transition from military life into civilian life. Manufacturing actually helps support and would be a great benefit to veterans as they transition.
Yeah, absolutely, and there's a variety of and ranges of skill sets that manufacturing has to offer, whether you're a very creative person on one end at the very early stages of design, all the way out to the other end where it's a very regimented, very disciplined manufacturer setting where you're following those guidelines. One of my favorite aspects of working for a company that makes military-oriented products is that you still get a sense of service. It feels as though you're still contributing to the efforts of the soldiers, the Marines, the airmen.
Being able to work on a machine that also served the military, it's like doing dual roles. I served in the military, now I'm being able to produce a part that actually helps the military. So you're giving back in two different ways. On one occasion, a machine that we had built, a soldier had actually driven that machine over an IED and survived and came out without a scratch, really. And later on, our manager had presented us the photos of the event and what had happened, and a thank you note from the soldier saying thank you for what the product you've produced and for keeping me safe and keeping me alive. And that really solidified it for me. So not only am I doing something I enjoy, manufacturing obviously is a fun field to be in, but it also matters to lives.